I always thought I had seen everything in the universe. But this planet, Xenothar, is different from anything I have ever encountered. The ship passes through the atmosphere, and the vast ocean of Xenothar opens up before my eyes. The waters are deep, deeper than I could have imagined. The horizon seems to fade into the dark blue, where the sky and sea merge into a thin line. Submerged islands rise from the depths, their dark and mysterious shapes like an invitation to the unknown. Inside the ship, the sound of water blends with the soft sound of my breathing. There is no turbulence. There is nothing. The silence is absolute. I approach the surface, and slowly, what once seemed to be an endless expanse begins to take shape. Alien marine creatures glide around the ship, some so large that I feel insignificant beside them. Their bodies shimmer with iridescent colors, as if made of liquid light, swimming unhurriedly. Without a single sign of fear, they watch me. I watch them, and then there it is, the city, submerged but imposing, rising from the depths like a crystal monument. The structures are made of translucent and iridescent materials, reflecting the vibrant colors of the surrounding waters. I can't help but be impressed. It is a perfect fusion of nature and technology. The balance is supernatural. Nothing there seems out of place. It's as if the city were part of the ocean itself. But something tells me I'm not here by chance. Every movement of the ship seems to take me deeper, to a place where the planet's secrets hide. And I, with my experience, know that where there is secrecy, there is danger. Something awaits me in the depths. Xenothar, where the silence of the depths hides even deeper secrets. I murmur, almost unwillingly. But I know the truth is there, waiting to be discovered. The submerged capsule descends slowly and silently. The sound of bubbles around fills the air, along with the soft hum of the propulsion engines. The front glass is wide enough for me to see everything outside, and what I see is hard to describe. The waters of Xenothar are dense, almost like a liquid fog, but as we descend, the darkness begins to dissipate. Rays of light pierce the surface, illuminating shapes that move with an unsettling grace. Alien marine creatures glide around us, some small, others gigantic. One passes so close to the capsule that its single yellow eye stares at me for several seconds. I feel a pressure in my chest, a primitive instinct warning me of danger. But the creature does not attack. It only observes and disappears into the shadows. That does not reassure me. These eyes, they do not just look, they evaluate. I think to myself. The city finally appears on the horizon, a silhouette of crystal and metal that shines under the filtered light of the water. With each meter, we descend. More details emerge. Tall, slender towers, rounded domes, floating bridges that connect through a tangle of walkways that seem alive. Light dances on the translucent surfaces, creating reflections that spread through the surrounding waters. It is a hypnotic beauty. I almost forget to breathe. But then I see it. The barrier, a sphere of energy, envelops the entire city. A thin yet distinct layer, as if the ocean itself is not permitted to enter. Waves of bluish light move across the barrier's surface, pulsing softly, almost like a heartbeat. The marine creatures approach but do not pass. They stay at the edge, like predators waiting outside a cage. This tells me two things. First, the zealots do not even trust the nature of their own world. Second, if they are protecting themselves like this, it is because they know there is something to fear. The waters here hold more than just life. There is something very ancient in the depths, I say, feeling the weight of these words. It was not a rehearsed sentence. It simply came out. The capsule continues to descend. The closer we get, the clearer it becomes. The city was not built to be admired. It was built to withstand. The Zealoth's underwater chamber is as impressive as the rest of the city. The walls, made of bioluminescent crystals, emit a soft, pulsating light, illuminating the environment ethereally. Each reflection in the crystals seems to tell an ancient story, as if the planet itself were alive and guarding unfathomable secrets. The Zealoths welcome us with respectful silence. They are amphibious beings, with iridescent skin that shines with subtle colors, as if part of the ocean itself. Their bodies flow with an almost supernatural grace, and their features, though human in form, have something alien with large, deep eyes that seem to see through me. They observe us, relentless and distant, as if they already knew what I was about to say. "Explorer Nolak," one of them says, his voice soft but laden with authority. "You have come to Xenothar with a message of war. But we do not seek conflict. We are a peaceful civilization, and our only priority is the protection of our planet and our people. I know what is happening. I have seen this before. They are in doubt, divided between the fear of getting involved in a war and the need to protect what they have built. But the threat is real, and I have no time to soften my words. Every second that passes, the Obsidian Horde gets closer. I understand, I say, trying to control myself. But the Obsidian Horde has no scruples. They will destroy everything they find in their path. What I am asking for is not just help. It is an alliance. They will not spare Xenothar, no matter how much you protect this planet. The eldest leader, with bluish skin and eyes that shine with their own light, steps forward. He is tall and imposing, his presence almost tangible in the crystalline room. But what you are asking for is something we do not take lightly. We have lived in peace for millennia. The Zealots do not interfere in the disputes of the universe. Our commitment has always been to harmony between our waters and our land. How can we trust your words, Nolak? How can we trust an enemy we do not even understand? There is a murmur among the other leaders, but the dialogue continues, with discordant voices beginning to rise. Some of the Zealots seem to agree with the old leader, while others, younger and more impetuous, begin to understand the gravity of the situation. One of the younger leaders, with silvery skin and a more agile posture, breaks the silence. But the threat is real, and we cannot turn a blind eye to what is happening out there. If what you say is true, then Xenothar is not safe in its protective bubble. We cannot expect our defense technology to save us if the enemy is as you describe. The clash of opinions is visible. The tensions are palpable. There is something more here, a natural resistance in many of them, but also a growing openness in others. And I need to act quickly. If I cannot convince them now, the price will be too high. I am not here to lie or play with words. The Obsidian Horde has power you have never seen. They fear nothing and are coming to destroy everything. All of you. My voice rises a bit, but not out of desperation. It is due to the urgency of the situation. If you do not join the Federation, if you do not prepare, you will lose everything you love. I can do nothing more than show you this. The decision is yours. The words fall into the silence of the chamber, like stones in a deep well. And deep down, I know their answer could be the difference between life and death for millions of beings in the universe. The tension in the Zalith's underwater chamber is almost palpable. The soft light of the bioluminescent crystals, which once conveyed a sense of tranquility, now seems to reflect the growing uncertainty in the air. The leaders visibly split, their expressions becoming more intense as the debate heats up. I see no reason for us to involve ourselves in a war that is not ours, says one of the leaders, his tone laden with distrust. He is older, his skin dark as the ocean floor, and his eyes seem weary, as if each word is spoken with ancestral weight. Our people live in harmony with the waters, and it is there, in the depths, where our peace must remain. We cannot allow external conflicts to contaminate Xenothar's serenity. The silence after his words is heavy. I can feel the pressure mounting. I know he speaks from the heart, but I also know that the peace he seeks will not last long if the Obsidian Horde reaches this planet. This is something he still cannot understand. I move to the center of the chamber, where the light of the crystals envelops me like a liquid aurora. Xenothar's peace is at risk. Zalith leader, I say, my voice firm, but laden with an urgency I can barely contain. We cannot ignore the threat of the Obsidian Horde. They have already destroyed entire worlds, and Xenothar could be next. We are not talking about any war. We are talking about a force that will destroy everything they encounter. The skeptical leader shakes his head sadly. We are not like you. We do not seek control over other worlds. Our waters, our crystals, our harmony, that is what sustains us. Your Federation may have its wars, but here, on Xenothar, we isolate ourselves from external disputes. But I see the seed of doubt beginning to sprout in his expression. It is not easy to ignore the imminent danger, even for the Zaliths, who have always lived far from conflicts. They are so proud of their peaceful culture, but they do not have the experience of facing an unrelenting threat like the Obsidian Horde. I look at the other leaders in the room. Some still maintain a rigid stance, but I notice a slight change in the behavior of others. There are those who listen attentively, and these are the ones who can turn the tide. I just need them on my side. I am not asking you to abandon your peace or your philosophy. I continue, my voice now softer. I am only asking you to recognize that the balance you seek is at risk. The Obsidian Horde will not stop at Xenothar, and if we wait until it is too late, there will be nothing left to save. The debate among the Zaliths intensifies, with some raising their voices in favor of peace, while others begin to question the viability of resisting alone. I can see what is happening. The war is about to reach Xenothar, but not all the Zaliths are willing to accept it yet. This is more than a fight for survival. It is a battle against their very own idealism. I look at the youngest leader, the one who seems more open to the idea of allying with the Galactic Federation. He looks at me with eyes full of doubt, but also understanding. What you are saying, I don't want to believe it, Nolak. But if the Obsidian Horde has the power you say, and if our security is indeed at stake, double quotes he pauses, as if processing the implications. Perhaps we should consider your proposal. I take a deep breath, trying to hide the relief I feel. The fight is far from over, but this is a start. I know I cannot lose faith now. They need to see the threat with their own eyes. But my mission could fail if I cannot secure everyone's unity. The internal division among the Zealots grows with each minute, but I know there is still a chance to convince them. The future of Xenothar depends on it. The scene begins calmly, but soon the silence of the underwater environment is broken by a muffled boom, as if the ocean itself is roaring. I barely have time to react when suddenly the underwater sky lights up with a series of blinding explosions. The tranquility of Xenothar's waters is replaced by deep chaos. Ships of the Obsidian Horde emerge from within clouds of bubbles and particles, their dark and imposing forms cutting through the water like predators hunting their prey. Defend the city. We cannot let them take Xenothar. I shout to my team, keeping my focus. The sound of my voice is muffled by the water pressure, but each word carries the urgency of the situation. The Zealots are in panic. They have never experienced an invasion of such magnitude, and their resistance is ineffective against the invaders' ferocity. The creatures of the Obsidian Horde, in combat suits adapted to the aquatic environment, advance with lethal precision. They move like specters, their bodies almost invisible under the water, but with red eyes glowing like lamps in a dark background. The weapons they use fire energy bursts that cut through the Zealots' translucent structures like thin glass. The submerged city begins to collapse. The crystalline structure that once reflected the soft light of the water now trembles, cracking and shattering under the impact of the explosions. The surrounding waters become murky with dust and debris, creating a sense of disorientation. What once seemed like an underwater paradise is now a battlefield in ruins. Quick, let's position the defenses, I command, running through the underwater chamber. The battle starts to take on a desperate form. The Zealots' technology, still partly unused for combat, begins to be hastily adapted. The bioluminescent structures that served as communication and control pillars now become improvised force fields, trying to block the invaders' energy bursts. But, of course, it is not enough. I position myself near one of the Zealot leaders, pointing to a large bioluminescent crystal that shines intensely. If you channel the energy to this chamber, we can boost the defense and contain the invasion for a while. Do it now. I have no time for explanations. He looks at me with a mix of doubt and determination, but soon begins to coordinate the other Zealots, using the surrounding crystals to reinforce the force field. Meanwhile, the creatures of the Obsidian Horde are spreading throughout the city, invading the Zealots' structures with alarming speed. I see one of the creatures approaching one of the main doors of the chamber. I hesitate no longer. I point my weapon at the monster and fire a burst of energy that hits the invader directly in the chest. causing it to shatter into pieces. But soon, more invade, more aggressively. The water around us becomes a maelstrom of destruction. The vibrant colors of the city blend with the flashes of light from the explosions, creating a surreal spectacle of beauty and terror. With each passing second, the city becomes more vulnerable, more fragile. I see the Zalids beginning to react, their skills with the crystals becoming vital in the combat. They manage to create temporary energy barriers and even launch concentrated attacks. But it's obvious that without the help of the Galactic Federation, the resistance will be in vain. Focus on the defense. We cannot lose Xenothar. I shout desperately, while continuing to coordinate the defense and the fight. Every movement is a race against time. The future of Xenothar depends on this. And as the fight unfolds, one truth becomes increasingly clear. The Zalids may be peaceful, but now they have no choice. They need to unite, and quickly, or Xenothar will be another planet lost to the Obsidian Horde. The underwater battle is a whirlwind of lights, muffled sounds, and relentless currents. The waters around us churn violently, as if the ocean itself is revolting against the invasion. The Zalith Submerged City, a marvel of crystals and translucent structures, is now in ruins. Stones and crystals tumble through the waters, forming mountains of debris where warriors fight to survive. Use the crystals to create shields. I shout to the Zalids as a nearby explosion almost drags me to the depths. Let's finish them off before they destroy everything. I barely finish speaking when one of the Obsidian Horde creatures emerges from the shadows. It is immense, with biomechanical tentacles that extend like sharp blades. It fires a burst of energy directly at one of the city's walls, causing the structure to collapse in a wave of debris and shattered crystals. Without hesitation, I leap and charge at the creature, firing a burst from my pulse rifle. It recoils but soon advances again, more furious. We cannot let them reach the energized crystals. I shout to my team. Seeing that the Zalids are beginning to use their crystals to form shields and barriers, it is the only chance to resist. The Zalids, now adapted to the battle, work with impressive skill. They manipulate the crystals around them, creating floating platforms of solid energy to protect themselves from the attacks. With their telepathic abilities, they control the crystals precisely, creating instant protective walls that deflect the Obsidian Horde's energy bursts. Come on, guys. Focus the power on the central crystals. A Zalith leader shouts, his iridescent skin shining under the pulsating light of the explosions. He lifts a massive crystal and places it at the center of a defense formation, creating an energy shield that extends across the entire area. But the enemy creatures are relentless. The waters become increasingly murky, with fragments of the city sinking and mixing with the waves of destruction. The Obsidian Horde, with their armor adapted to the underwater environment, are becoming more aggressive, surrounding the Zalids in coordinated groups. In a moment of pure adrenaline, I see one of the Zalids falling, being dragged into the depths by one of the Obsidian Horde creatures. I cannot let that happen. I dive toward him, firing my weapon at the creature until I finally manage to free him. But the battle is far from over. Back to the crystals. Let's strengthen the defense and repel this invasion. I command, knowing that every second counts. With the Zalith's support, we create a stronger defense line, but the Obsidian Horde will not give up easily. The alien creatures attack non-stop, but we manage to use the city itself to our advantage. The crystals, energized by the collective force of the Zaliths, begin to fire concentrated energy bursts at the invaders, creating underwater explosions that light up the depths like lightning. It is a spectacle of chaos and power. Each battle won is a fleeting victory, as around every corner more invaders emerge. For Xenothar, one of the Zaliths shouts as he charges forward, using his crystals as energy spears to pierce one of the Obsidian Horde's combat suits. The determination in his eyes shines brighter than the lights of the crystals around us. The fight continues, with moments of heroism and sacrifice with each new attack. I see a Zalith position himself strategically to create a final line of defense, using a large crystal to generate a massive energy explosion. He knows this might be the last thing he does. The sacrifice is evident in his expression, but he hesitates not. For the survival of our land, we will do the impossible, he says, activating the crystal and firing an energy wave that destroys the invaders' assault front. But the price is high. He succumbs to the impact of the explosion. And then, in the midst of the chaos, with the water bubbling and illuminated by the destruction around us, a final burst of energy rises from the depths. It is powerful and bright, but doubt remains. Did we manage to keep Xenothar standing? The water around Xenothar is murky, taken over by the remnants of the battle, while the Obsidian Horde creatures are finally repelled. The planet, which once shone with the harmony between technology and nature, now seems torn apart. The submerged structures, a marvel of crystals and metals that once reflected the soft light of the ocean, are now collapsing. The sound of water currents mixed with the cracking of breaking crystals is a silent reminder of the cost of war. I look around. The Zalith city, which once floated peacefully with the waters, is now a landscape of ruins. Native marine creatures that once swam tranquilly are now scattered, moved away from the conflict's epicenter. The devastation is visible. It's not just the city that is in danger. The entire Zalith civilization has been shaken. War is not a choice, I think, as I watch the Zaliths gathering among the ruins of their city, their eyes reflecting a feeling of loss that is hard to ignore. It is a reality. The survival of all depends on our unity. I walk up to the Zalith leaders, who are gathered in a silent formation, assessing the damage. The protective leader, the one who initially opposed the idea of getting involved in a galactic conflict, is looking with tired eyes. But there is a change in his expression. He sees the destruction around and begins to understand the truth of what is at stake. We were forced to open our eyes, he says, his voice low but filled with deep reflection. He looks at the other leaders, as if asking permission to acknowledge what he previously refused to admit. Now, we will see how far our alliance can take us, as he speaks. The rest of Nolak's team works tirelessly to try to stabilize the city's defense systems, using the remaining crystals to restore, at least partially, what was destroyed. But there is no denying it. The damage was immense, and, it seems, The battle was only the beginning. I approach a group of injured Zaliths. Some are gravely wounded, others mourning their own losses. The pain is palpable, but there is also something more in their eyes. Something that begins to look like renewed determination. They know their fight is far from over. Xenothar may be destroyed, but their hope now lies in the alliance with the Galactic Federation. Suddenly, a wave of energy sweeps through the destroyed city, and everyone stops for a moment. It is the same energy the Zaliths used to defend the city, but now it is weaker, more diffuse. The vital energy of Xenothar, which had sustained the city's wonders for so long, is fading. I look to the water's surface, where the last lights of the day are disappearing. The underwater horizon is now empty, but there is still a sense that something is lurking. Something that, even after this temporary victory, still poses a threat. The Zalith leader's words echo in my mind. How far can our alliance take us? I know this is not the end. It is only a step towards something much bigger, much more dangerous. But at the same time, it is a reminder that we cannot fight alone, that our survival depends, more than ever, on how we unite in the face of darkness. The light of Xenothar's submerged city is beginning to fade, and the last particles of vital energy that sustained the iridescent structures start to dissipate. I find myself beside the Zalith leader, the debris around us still visible as the water gently calms after the chaotic battle. The sound of the water, once again tranquil, seems almost ironic after the violence of the invasion. What do you mean by that? I ask, feeling a growing tension in the atmosphere. The Zalith leader, with his expression more serious than ever, reveals something I did not expect, a secret that could change everything. He extends a hand to a hidden compartment in his attire, retrieving a small artifact, a star map, an object that seems as ancient as the Zalith's own civilization. Its surface glows with a subtle light, as if it contains within it all the mystery of the deep waters. Kyroth, he says, handing me the map. It's the planet where our last hope is hidden. We do not know what else lies there, but an ancient weapon has been kept on that world. It may be the key to defeating the Obsidian Horde once and for all. I examine the map carefully, but a feeling of unease begins to grow within me. Kyroth, I think. I've never heard of that planet. What is there that can change the course of the war? The Zalith leader hesitates for a moment, as if pondering his words. He looks at the ruins of his city, and, for a brief instant, his gaze loses itself in the depths of the ocean. When he looks back at me, his voice is grave, full of a dark warning. It is a powerful weapon, but also a curse, he says, his words laden with mystery. Its location is guarded by very ancient beings that no one has dared to face for millennia. And what more it can bring, we do not yet know. The future of the entire galaxy may depend on it. The star map glows again, and I see the coordinates stand out enigmatically. Kyroth is distant, beyond what anyone could imagine, and the journey there will not be easy. The future of this war, as well as the destiny of the Zaliths, and perhaps all of us, is now tied to a mysterious planet. The water around begins to stir gently, as if the very currents feel the tension in the air. I hold the map, feeling the weight of responsibility, but also the urgent need to move forward. The Obsidian Horde may be defeated, but the path to that victory is far from clear. And what we will find on Kyroth could be both our salvation and our doom. Are we ready for this journey? I think. Looking at the Xalith leader, he watches me with a mix of hope and fear. The war is just beginning. In the next episode, I will travel to the planet Kyroth, a distant place shrouded in mysteries. My mission, to find the Xalith's secret weapon. But I have already learned that, in these journeys, the unexpected always finds me first. What awaits me in Kyroth? I have no idea, but I feel it will be something that will change everything, not only my mission, but everything I believe in. Revelations await, and I know they can shake the foundations of my fight. Don't miss it, because this is far from just a quest for a weapon.